Alright, so I posted up a video in the past about my opinion over the flip flops and elastic britches. And the way my opinion has been about it, and today that's changed. And I'm gonna call things out like it is right now, because the way I thought about it in the past is that dressing like that is completely unprofessional. But that's between those drivers, their companies, their customers. But I never imagined any circumstances where it would be any of my business. But I want to explain something to you. I was doing a 34-hour reset in a TA. I was inside at the Country Pride, got me a meal, trying to enjoy my meal, had a conversation going on with other drivers around me and everything. And this one guy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this, I'm going to call it like it is. This guy was wearing pajama pants and flip flops. He was a lazy fuck that doesn't shower. Too lazy go to the shower. Probably sleeps next to piss bottles and candy bar wrappers because he's that lazy. But um, the problem that I had while I'm trying to enjoy my meal, this guy's walking in and his feet reek. I mean, this guy smelled like straight up feet, and I'm trying to enjoy my meal while this lazy flip flop wearing fuck has ruined me trying to enjoy my meal. And this wasn't in passing or anything. This was right beside me while I'm trying to eat. So I said something about it. And his go to thing was, mind your own business. So I set in on him. And also, two other drivers laid in on him. And it was it didn't get violent. I was worried about it starting to turn violent because I mean I'm willing to stand my ground, but I would really rather not get that far and have to have that risk of getting arrested for assault or anything like that. But it didn't get violent, but it was a very hateful conversation between this one guy and other people in the restaurant. Um, I mean, but pretty much to sum it up, his thing was it's none of your business how I dress, and everyone else. I mean, we embarrassed him. We embarrassed him, and to add to that embarrassment, whenever the waitress walked over uh, to try to calm the commotion and everything down. No, she got a whiff of him, and she said, and she made a comment and couldn't bear to be around the dude. I mean, basically, she was coming up with um, as this figure uh, of authority to try to de-escalate what was happening, but as soon as she got a whiff, she couldn't. She couldn't. Oh, she said, "Oh dear God, oh God, I can't, I can't," and she walked away. So I mean, that added to his embarrassment. But we humiliated him. I mean, we were telling him he needs to shower. You need. I mean, instead of showing up in here ruining our meal, go fucking take a shower. we were, I mean, but he was humiliated after that waitress tried to de-escalate it, but failed. And it's not her fault; it's the lazy fuck's fault because he reeked so bad that she couldn't do anything. But that added all the more added to his embarrassment. But we embarrassed him out of that TA. Not just embarrass him out of the building and back to his truck. No, he was in, he was in, he was humiliated to the point that he got back in his truck and left. Um, and hopefully, maybe to reevaluate what he's doing or his situation because I mean, maybe, I mean, uh, by leaving the place that provides showers isn't really going to help your better the way you smell, but maybe with some deodorant and a change of clothes and some real shoes can mask enough of that scent for you to get into another location and get you a shower in. But yeah, up until that, I never imagined any circumstances where how other people dressed is any of my business, but it finally happened. So I'm kind of back on this thing now, and this flip flop wearing culture it's growing in the trucking industry, and it seems like more and more people don't give a fuck, but and this is what I'm going to say about it, and I probably said this in my past video on the subject, but how you dress expresses what you put into your job. Generally, it does. Not every time, because I see some people wearing the canvas, the Carhartt type of pants and boots that are still pieces of shit. So I'm going to say generally. And I would say if you're the type of person that wears pajama pants and flip flops, you are generalized as someone who don't put shit into your job. And I'm calling it like it is. And the excuses are lame. But if you're the kind of person who just throws on flip flops and pajama pants or sweatpants, whatever, or elastic breeches, we'll call them elastic breeches, you're a lazy fuck. If you're doing your job dressed like that, you're a lazy fuck. And I'm calling it like it is. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. And I hear these excuses. Well, it's a long day and you got to get comfortable. I'm gonna go ahead and say this about that. That's a lame excuse, because how much of your clock are you really using? Because I mean, here's my thing. In jeans and steel-toed boots, if I can work all day and shut down just within half an hour of being out of hours, if I can shut down within that half hours, what's your fucking excuse then? Well, you gotta be comfortable. Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this. It's a long day, so you gotta get comfortable. With me using up a lot of my clock, I'm gonna go ahead and say this: if you're a lazy fuck, you're only using about 7 or 8 hours of your clock. Maybe even less than that. Maybe less than 6 hours of your clock. So that long day, that's bullshit because you ain't using up enough of your clock. So another thing about the flip flop wearing culture, I'm gonna go ahead and say this about what they put into their job. Now, breaking down on the shoulder, it's inevitable, and that's going to happen to everybody at some point in their career. And what causes that breakdown to happen? What is it? What really caused that anyway? And could it have been caught during a pre-trip? Because I mean, to tell you that breakdowns are going to happen to everybody. And I'll go ahead and tell you this: my last breakdown happened because a sensor went out in my truck, and it was given some kind of information to the computer that just made the engine decide to go into shutdown. So I'm left on the shoulder waiting on the tech to come out, and him coming out, and he sees it and sees what's wrong, and he has a fix for it on his truck with him. So fortunately, my breakdown only took me I was less than an hour sitting on the shoulder of the road and got my shit fixed and got on my way. But now, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say more than half of the breakdowns on the shoulders of freeways, I'm going to tell you exactly what has happened. A situation comparable to what I'm about to say about the flip-flop wearing people. Over half of the breakdowns, more than half, is going to be the people wearing the pajama pants and flip-flops. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're too lazy to tie real shoes, you're too lazy to do your pre-trips. And yeah, you're not going to do your pre-trip, so you're just going to take off clueless that you're low on coolant and get 30 minutes down the road and end up sitting on the shoulder after your shit's overheated because you're too lazy to tie real shoes, so you're too lazy to do your pre-trip and completely oblivious of how low on coolant you are, and you end up sitting. Now, another thing too, chaining up. If I have to chain up, I don't really have to spend much time on dressing to get out of my truck and get my chains. I don't. But now there is circumstances where a lot of people will say, well, if I have to chain up, then I'm staying shut down. Now, the idea of if I have to chain up, I'm staying shut down because I'm not putting my life at risk. The people that are saying that are lazy fucks that are full of shit. And I'm going to go ahead and say this about that, though. Now, if the weather is so severe, even with chains, if I'm at risk of getting stuck or at risk of having an accident, or if that risk is greater, even with chains, then yeah, I'm going to stay shut down. So, but now, and I agree, everybody should be like that. That if you feel unsafe, stay shut down. But now here's the thing about this chains. To get on the, like, if you're traveling on I-70 in Colorado, now if you're comfortable enough to drive on I-70, but you're going to shut down because you have to chain up. And that chain up is just to get to the other side of Vail. You're still driving through the same shit that you have been in. So, but you're going to shut down just because you're required to have chains, even though you're driving in the same shit that you have been driving in. So, that's another thing about that, though. So, yeah, you're too lazy to tie real shoes, so you're too lazy to chain up, and you're gonna hide behind the excuse of it's too unsafe to drive if I have to chain up. Dumbass. Now, another thing too, the term steering wheel holders. For that flip-flop culture, they don't take being called a steering wheel holder as an insult, even though it is directed at them, intended to insult them, but they don't take it as an insult. So I'm going to tell you why that is a fucking disgrace in this industry, because the idea in steering wheel holder, that is all you put into your job, is sitting on your ass behind the steering wheel just holding it. So, but that's the reason why they don't take it as an insult. It's because that's all they put into their job. Throw on the flip-flops and sit in the driver's seat behind the steering wheel. Don't even pre-trip, just set up their navigation and have heart-filled hopes that it's not taking them on a restricted road or to top their trailer. They don't take it as an insult because they don't. That's all that they really put into their job. That's all they think that goes into this job. They're not going to do pre-trips, and they got the excuse. They got the lame excuse on doing pre-trips. And this is the excuse that I hear is, well, I'm only paid by miles. I don't get paid hourly. If the company would pay me hourly, then I would do my pre-trips. And you're full of shit, because if the company still paid hourly, you'd still sit on your ass behind the steering wheel. Lazy fuck. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that's a lame excuse. Companies are not going to pay people to do their pre-trips. Most of them won't. Because if they were paid hourly, they would still sit on their ass and just log their pre-trip without really doing it. So that's going to be unfair on the company. But now here's another thing too. Companies know that the responsibility of the pre-trip falls on the driver. The equipment condition falls on the driver. The one who jeopardizes their career is the driver. Now let's take, for example, you get pulled into a weigh station and they pull you off to the side for an inspection. The responsibility of the equipment condition, it falls on the driver. Now the company is going to have their losses. They'll have to figure out that they're going to have to take their losses on that load being late and all that. But the losses on your lack of doing your job when you're put out of service, it isn't really going to hurt that. It isn't going to hurt that multi-million-dollar company. I mean, let's say that load never makes it at all. They have their losses, but it isn't losses to a multi-million-dollar company that's going to hurt them. So, but the bigger losses is going to be on that driver that fails the inspection. Um, and you doing your now the reason for doing the pre-trip, you ain't doing it for your company. Now, yeah, the company is responsible for the is going to be responsible for paying the bill to fix whatever's wrong with it. But um, that is your career that you're jeopardizing. Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this: you go into the way you fail the inspection. Tell that DOT officer that. Well, I'm not paid for the hour. I'm only paid mileage. So I don't do my pre. I'll do my pre-trip if I got paid by the hour. Yeah, tell that to that DOT officer, and you really think, oh, excuse me, we'll go right on ahead because you don't get paid for that. No, he's gonna put you out of service if your shit's fucked up that bad. Um, he's gonna. That's going to be, although CSA points to your company, but also points on you. And you do your pre-trips. You don't do it for your company. You don't do it for any kind of pay or whatever. You do it to protect your CDL. So, again, that's a lame excuse. So, yeah, I would say in general, the way other drivers dress, it is none of my business. It's between them, their company, and their customers. But, but the truth is, it expresses that you're lazy. Wearing the pajama pants and flip-flops, it's an expression that you are lazy and you ain't going to do your job, and my life is at risk because if you're too lazy to tie real shoes, you're too lazy to do your pre-trips. When you're at a brake check point in a mountain, you're too lazy to get out of your truck. You're just going to sit there and log your brake check while sitting on your ass. And my life is at risk. Try sharing that road with you with your lack of doing your job. So you are generalized for not doing your job right. You're a lazy fuck. Seriously, like, and yeah, there are pieces of shit that are dressed appropriately for their job that ain't gonna do their job. Yes, but the people wearing elastic breeches and flip flops, whenever in the middle of January, at a brake checkpoint on a mountain, are you? We all know you ain't gonna get out in the cold in flip flops and check your shit. We know that. So yeah, that's the reason why you're considered a lazy fuck. And this idea of being comfortable, that's bullshit because people still do it all the time wearing boots. And because you don't get paid to do pre-trips, that's a lame excuse. Because you don't do it for your company, you do it to protect your own career. So, yeah, if you're too lazy to tie real shoes, you're too lazy to check your brakes when you're traveling on a mountain. If you're too lazy to tie real shoes, you're too lazy to walk your trash to a proper dumpster or trash can. If you're too lazy to tie real shoes, you're too lazy to do your pre-trips, and your shit's gonna break down on the side of the road and put other people's lives at risk. Oh, on that throwing trash away shit. Uh, this is a lame excuse because I used to work at a pilot in Tennessee, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this about the lazy fucks that throw their trash down. Uh, the excuse of it's job security for the staff. That fuck you, motherfucker, because I quit pilot because of pieces of shit like you, and I'm gonna tell you why. To go around and collect up all the trash, change out the trash cans on the golf cart, is supposed to take approximately 20-25 minutes. Now, by me having to clean up by the lazy fucks, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this. That extends my time collecting trash out to 45 minutes an hour. And meanwhile, the management inside is accusing me of goofing off. So fuck you motherfuckers for throwing your shit out and say it's job security for the staff. Fuck you, son of lazy fucking piece of shit. So, yeah. So, ultimately, yeah, the way you dress expresses what you put into your job. So, that's all I'm going to say on that. And I would say it's none of my business. That's between them, their customers, their company, whatever. But um, but yeah, the circumstances where it was my business, the guys tried sitting behind that. It's none of your bit. Yeah, I'm trying to enjoy my meal, and you fucking ruined it with the smell of your feet. So, um, that's all. I'm gonna leave it on that. So be safe out there. Wear real shoes, and don't drink the fish tank cleaner. Thanks.